Yo, what is going on, y'all? It's your boy HD MMA back at it again with another video. Today, we're going over my instant reaction and breakdown to UFC Fight Night Hanato Moicano versus Duncan. Overall, it was a pretty decent card. Card started off pretty lackluster. Really picked up once like the main card got on and stuff. Some little sneaky good fights on the prelims here and there, but overall nothing too special. Um from what we see, it could have been a lot worse, but and there were definitely some low moments on this card that made me want to, you know, goon or fucking just scroll on fucking on YouTube or whatever, but all in all, there were some pretty good cards. Tommy McMillan had a great performance. Ethan Ewing had a really good performance. Like Yayav came and destroyed shit. There's a fucking WMMA slime out on this card. That was somehow the worst. It was like the most brutal knockout on the card. Um, and yeah, let's get into this. Let's start off with this this prelim opener of Kai Kamaka the third defeating Dakota Hope by split decision. I picked Dakota Hope to win in this fight, and even though on these numbers he has a knockdown, landed more total strikes, more significant strikes, more strikes to the head, and also has a takedown with more control time. Either these numbers are fucking all the way fucking wrong, or the judges are absolute retards, which it could be both. It could definitely be both. But nonetheless, this was a very competitive fight. Dakota Hope really came out guns blazing in round one. Tried to take the head off of Kai Kamaka. Kai Kamaka, he stayed really composed. Didn't let the blitzing hooks and wild punches of Dakota Hope fluster him or panic him. Stay very composed. Kept investing in the body he invested in the body of Dakota Hope very early, through leg kicks, through a lot of body kicks and a lot of body hooks, while Dakota Hope was swinging wild up top with big looping punches and head hunting. Kamaka would just stay low to the body, work the body and sneak some shots up to the head here and there. On Dakota Hope. In the round one, there was a knockdown. I think it was from a headbutt though. If I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. When I watched the replay, it looked like it was they clashed heads for a moment, and that's what knocked down Kai Kamaka. I don't think it was a punch. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like to me. Round two, Dakota Hope started to slow down a bit. Kai Kamaka, this was the strategy where the strategy of Kai Kamaka really started to like flourish, with going to the body and going to the legs. And Dakota Hope really looked slowed down by the end of round two. Round three, it was more of the same stuff. Dakota Hope had really slowed down at that point. Looked a lot more visibly tired than Kai Kamaka. Then Kai Kamaka just kept going to the fucking body, going to the legs. They did grapple a bit. Cope shot a couple takedowns, got him down once. It was mostly just like riding Kamaka up against the cage with the control, like having him in that body lock, with his hands, like both of Kamaka's hands on the mat, that kind of position. Didn't really establish any like actual position on the ground. And then Kai Kamaka got it done with that. I thought they were watching it live. I thought they were gonna score it for Kamaka, because of the body language of Hope. The body language of Hope, he looked really, really tired and was sort of like, he looked more affected by the shots of Kamaka going later on into the fight than Kamaka was of Hope. And also Hope had he had like blood on his nose. He had the visible damage on his nose as well. So I had Hope. I had Kamaka like winning. I would say rounds 2 and 3. A slight edge on round 3. Yeah, got back in the UFC with a win. I think he's gonna be too small for lightweight. I think he's like what 5'7", 69-inch reach. I know this was short notice, both these guys, so I don't know if they're both natural lightweights. Maybe that's just the lightest they could have been at the time in order to get the fight going. So maybe he's a natural featherweight Kamaka. I know Hope is a natural is a featherweight. I think Kamaka is as well. So if he goes down to featherweight, I don't know who he can fight. Maybe fucking Jillian Arosa or something like that. But yeah, good comeback win for fucking Kai Kamaka. And yeah, moving on, we got Dion Barboza defeating Melissa Gatto by majority decision. This fight was really, really weird and really, really boring. Fucking started off, they're both at range doing WMMA shit. First off, I picked Melissa Gatto to win. I thought she would have the advantage on the feet. I was watching this out of the corner of my eye because I was doing something. But yeah, they were both doing WMMA stuff on the feet. Barboza was trying to shoot in the first round a bit, trying to get the grappling going, getting in the clinch with the over-unders and stuff like that. In the first round. Second round, I think Melissa Gatto, she started shooting her own takedowns, I believe, on Barboza for some reason. She started trying to work her grappling in on Barboza. I think she was getting some of it. Getting that grappling going. And then I can't remember if it's the second or the third, but at the Melissa Gatto's on the ground. She's on the ground, Barboza's standing up, and they're both like disengaged from a grappling exchange where Barboza was on top, and I guess Gatto was able to kick her off with like feet on hips or something. And while Melissa Gatto was about to stand up and building her base back up, Barboza ended up punting her in the head, punted Melissa Gatto in the head illegally. And that became a whole thing where they had timeout and they were checking on Gatto. The way Gatto the way it happened is like Barboza kicked her in the head and Gatto took it. She kind of got back up and she kind of flopped back down, almost like she was Aljamain Sterling maxing, kind of like that. It still was illegal, and I bet it fucking, hurt and concussed her a bit. But it didn't look like a full like Pride 90s fucking soccer kick full on. It looked like it just caught her on the chin. To be fair, which is still not good, but it didn't look like a full fucking speed fucking punt straight to like the fucking wrapping the foot around the chin stuff, that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, that was a whole debacle. Took like 5 minutes to get cleared up. Gatto ended up being okay. I think they deducted a point from that as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, then the fight continued on. It was more of the same. Barboza started landing more takedowns. She started landing more on the feet as well. And third round was also the same shit. So yeah, Barboza ends up winning that decision. Could have been of a nothing fight except for the foul, the blatant foul by Barboza. So yeah, what can you do? What can you do? Moving on, we got. Is this the biggest upset of the card? It might be. It might be. Yeah. We got Tresean Gore defeating Azamat Bakoyev by third round submission with the guillotine. First off, this is a crazy comeback win for Tresean Gore and very unexpected. Fight started off, Bakoyev was on the pressure, using that front kick to back up Tresean Gore. Utilizing the range a lot. He would get in the clinch sometimes as well, box up Tresean Gore at range as well. Really just kind of dominating the fight in sort of every aspect. He did that for the majority of the first round. Second round, it was more of the same, and then Bakoyev ended up dropping Tresean Gore. I think with a 1-2, if I believe. Ended up dropping Tresean Gore. Tried to go for the finish. Gore recovers. They get into like the clinch and stuff. Start going for over-unders and stuff like that. Bakoyev also shoots a couple takedowns as well in round 2. And then while all that is happening, Tresean Gore is like throwing a lot of low kicks on Bakoyev as Bakoyev's, doing all of his stuff. Gore is like investing really heavy in the low kicks. And then round 3, Gore ends up hitting him with the low kick. And all of a sudden, Bakoyev starts walking funny on it. He starts bouncing around at range, starting to switch stances. And the front leg of Bakoyev is fucking cooked. It is really hurt badly. And I see it. And Gore also sees it. He starts hammering the low kicks harder. Battering the lead leg of Bakoyev even more. Bakoyev's, as he switches stances, his movement is very, very stifled. And then Gore ends up he ended up shooting a takedown on Bakoyev. Fucking shooting a takedown. He disengaged from the grappling, and I think he fucking hurts Bakoyev on the feet with like a combination, I believe. And then he shoots in again on Bakoyev. Ends up getting Bakoyev down and ends up like fucking on top of Bakoyev in like the front headlock position, and then he rips like this guillotine with no hooks in. It's almost like a choke you would see in a WWE match, like kind of like a bulldog choke, but like you're facing. Gore was like facing Bakoyev. They were like kind of in a north-south position, and Gore had this nasty guillotine on Bakoyev, and Bakoyev ended up tapping. Yeah, sick comeback win for Tresean Gore. Bakoyev's dog shit, man. Bakoyev's dog shit. Tresean Gore, he was 6-4 coming into this fight. Hasn't really produced any wins of anybody of like a sort of decent skill level, and ends up coming back and piecing up Bakoyev with the leg kicks and getting the submission on him. Yeah, a lot of these middleweights now, like a lot of these like sort of unranked middleweights are really fucking shit. Middleweight is I think as a division, middleweight is, I wouldn't say the worst, but probably like the second worst division out of the UFC. along with heavyweight, I think middleweight is one of the worst divisions in the UFC, because they have all the downsides of being big with none of the upsides of the smaller weight classes. Like they have the non like technique and like non very limited fundamental understandings of the bigger weight classes, and they don't have like the talent pool of the lighter weight classes. So they're just kind of like guys that aren't big enough for like the light heavyweight and the heavyweight, but they're not small enough to where they have like a big like talent pool to choose from to like sharpen each other with. So yeah. But really great win for Tresean Gore. Comes in 6-4 and is now 7-4 against a guy that had a bit of hype behind him and had some good finishes. So yeah. Moving on, we got the best knockout of the card, and it is Alice Pereira defeating Haley Cohen by KO in round 1 with a knee. Pereira, she looked really good in the striking. She looked way more improved in the striking from that Montserrat Randone loss, where she was just backing up and not doing much. She looked very improved, landing big combinations on Cohen. Cohen really didn't have much of anything for Pereira on the feet. She was just kind of sitting out of range, and whenever she would come in, she would get tagged up by Pereira and lit up. Tried to engage in the grappling, had some success controlling Pereira up against the cage, but Pereira would kind of just defend that and not get like taken down from it. She would just kind of stuff the takedown, and even when she got taken down, she would get back up pretty much immediately. So it was just a really tough night for Cohen, and Pereira was just on piecing her up against in the center of the cage. Whenever Cohen would try and get into range to throw some type of offense, she would get pieced up, landing big combinations on Cohen. By the end of the first round, her nose was just busted up and she was bleeding as well. And then the second, more of the same from Pereira, piecing her up whenever she got into the range. Cohen would just try and grapple and hug her up against the cage. And in the fucking before the finishing sequence, I think Pereira lands a combo on her. Then Cohen backs up, and then like Pereira does this like sort of like jump knee, like kind of fake. She kind of goes for a jump knee, but she doesn't get off the ground. She sort of like just kind of marches and like almost like a gallop. If you will, she sort of like gallops towards Cohen and ends up throwing up her lead knee that lands right on the chin of Cohen and puts her out cold immediately, stiffs her, paces her on the ground, and a couple follow-up shots, and that's all she wrote. So yeah, really good win for Alice Pereira. What she needed going into that was what she needed from her UFC debut, and she ends up getting it in her second outing. Slimes out a girl like Cohen, who had some like, she had like sort of like a white woman kind of hype to her. Like she worked so hard, though, that kind of like thing where she had like a bit of a journey, and she was coming off of injuries and stuff like that. That sort of like sympathy hype Cohen had, and Pereira, she shut that shit down with a big finish. So yeah. And of course, I also picked fucking Cope, I picked fucking Gato, I picked Bakoyev, and I picked Cohen to win. So yeah, that made me 0-4 starting off on the card. And then My first fucking pick I got right. And it is Darius Flowers defeating Lana Venata by round 2 TKO. This was looking shaky on the start. I'm not gonna lie. Venata, he was going in there. He came out with his hands down. He looked very crafty. Looked very unbothered by the stand up of Flowers. Flowers was just kind of like marching forward, looking very stiff, looking very like sort of NPC and bottish against Venata. Venata, he was grooving, coming out with the hands down, moving around on the outside, looking real like crafty and like he's been here before, that kind of thing. That he always sort of does. And he was tagging up Darius a bit. He was tagging up Darius a bit. While he was, moving around the outside doing his thing. Ended up getting into some like, grappling exchanges here and there, and then at the like near the end of the first, they got into a grappling exchange, and then Venata jumps guard on on Flowers. And then Flowers just power bombs him into the fucking into the canvas. And while Flowers powerbombed him into the canvas, like the shoulder of Flowers, jeez, the shoulder of Flowers. Why do people want to say Powers? The shoulder of Flowers collides with the rib cage area of Venata, and that ends up breaking Venata's rib at the end of the first. So Venata's on the ground, hurt because its rib's broken, and Flowers just tries to pour on for the finish, ends up not getting it. They go to the second round, and then the second, pretty much as soon as Flowers gets as soon as Flowers takes down, I remember he takes down Venata, and Venata just quits on the ground because his rib's broken. So yeah. Good win for Flowers, coming in, defeating a guy like Venata who had some good fights back in the day, had a bit of a name value. People know who he is. Getting that win over him, yeah, it's good for him. And I'm 1-4 on the card at this point. So yeah. Moving on, we got this fight. This fight was This fight was pretty good. Moving on, we got Alessandro Costa defeating Stuart Nickel by round 2 TKO. This is a really good fight for to watch. Costa came out. They both came out in a very low stance, looking to box with each other, and that's what happened. It was very apparent early on that Costa had the power advantage, because whenever he would land on Nickel, and Nickel would just like not react very well. He would sort of like shell up and sort of like turn his back towards Costa whenever Costa would land clean on him. They both looked good in the boxing. Stuart Nickel, he was utilizing more of the straight shots. That's what he was landing clean with, and Costa was landing clean with like the hooks and the overhands and stuff like that. Nickel, he also tried to come out with like the spinning back kicks and stuff like that. Nickel was trying to be more dynamic, throwing like spinning back fists and spinning back elbows and stuff like that. It was also very clear that Costa had a big strength advantage, because whenever Nickel would shoot in for the takedown, Costa would just turn him around and shuck him off pretty much. And Costa would also go for his own takedowns. Costa has a very slick back take. I remember on one takedown, Costa, he fucking shot in, got Nickel to the cage, ended up getting he had like this body lock on Nickel. He was off, and Nickel was like, he was on the side of Nickel, like in that sort of position, and then Costa ends up getting a hook in, and immediately after that, he got his other hook in and just immediately took the back of Nickel. very slick and very fast, like, which was pretty impressive to see. Um, Apart from that, that was the first round. Second round was more of the same. Costa landing big hooks on Nickel. Nickel using that straight, trying to land spinning back fists and kicks and all that shit. And yeah, they were boxing each other up. End of the second round, you end up exchanging with each other. And as Nickel threw a right hand over the top, Costa dipped down and threw a perfect left hook to the body of Nickel that just absolutely folded him, and the fight was over pretty much from there. So yeah, really good win for Alessandro Costa. Folds Nickel with a body shot. I don't think Nickel's UFC level, to be honest. He doesn't have the physicality for like flyweight and stuff. He's like he's very fucking what can I say? He's very like he looks very like weak at flyweight. Like he doesn't really like he's not really able to like hurt guys and cause damage on guys. So yeah. He's gotta fix that. But great win for Alessandro Costa. That made me 2-4 on the card. So yeah. And moving on to the headliner of the prelims, this fucking disappointment, man. Disappointment. We got Thomas Peterson defeating Guilherme Pat by majority decision. This was a very, very like shit fight up until the third round. The third round is where pretty much all the action happened. The first two rounds were ass. So the first round starts, fucking Pat's on the pressure. He backs up Peterson up against the cage. Peterson's like moving around on the back foot, skirting around. Pat, he's very, very like aware of the takedown, and he made it like an absolute point to not let his hands go at all in the first like two rounds. He rarely threw any punches at Peterson to not get like to prevent them from being like shot under, because like all of a sudden Peterson's like this fucking wrestling phenom. I know he has some crafty takedowns and stuff, but he's not Makachev out there. He's not fucking shooting out of the first punch you throw at him. So yeah, really bad decision making for Guilherme Pat not to throw some type of boxing offense. He still looked fast. He was throwing like very fast like head kicks and body kicks and leg kicks and stuff like that on Peterson, but just made it absolutely point to not let his hands go. Ended up costing him the first and second round, because in between that, Peterson, he would land low kicks, he would land a jab, he would just outland Pat in the first and second round. And that was the case for the first and second round. And in the third round, Peterson, it just ends up saying fuck this, just bum rushes Pat with shit itching. Ends up bum rushing Pat, backs him up against the cage, lands a big right hook on the chin of Guilherme Pat, ends up dropping him. Starts pouring the ground and pound on him. I think Guilherme Pat ends up recovering, and then Peterson drops him again, and then gets on top of him in half guard, just throwing big ground and pound at Pat. Throwing big ground and pound. Pretty much stays on top of Pat for the entirety of the third round. Just stays on top of him, ground and pound. Trying to advance from out. It's not getting it, just throwing ground and pound. Pat would not try to like scramble or throw any like create any like sweeps or create any opportunities for himself to get back onto the feet. And Peterson would just lay on top of him with ground and pound, just blob him out. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole fight. So yeah, good win for Peterson. Looked good against a athletic, like fast guy in Guilherme Pat. outcrafted him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on, we got uh this one. My personal opinion, I think this was fight of the night. We got Jose Delino defeating Robert Ruchala by unanimous decision. This was a really, really good fight, really competitive. Both guys were really using their stand up really well. Delino, he was like more of like a volume guy, sort of outlanding Ruchala in a lot of situations. He would throw big combos with the boxing, throw long extended boxing combinations, whereas Ruchala was sort of like trying to be more dynamic, throwing spinning back kicks, utilizing a lot of kicks because this was a open stance matchup as well. Yeah, Ruchala throw the spinning back kick, throw like spinning back fist and all that shit. Whereas Delino stayed simple with the boxing combinations. With like the body work and stuff like that as well. And also stay up on the volume. That's something Delino did very well. Also going into the later rounds as well. Delino would start to outland Ruchala a lot. Yeah, very, very competitive. Also, Delino would land more of the land the bigger, cleaner punches on Ruchala, and Ruchala's face was pretty much just a mess going throughout the fight. Yeah, what else? Fucking in the third round, Delino tried to shoot in for a takedown, and Ruchala ended up brutally grabbing the cage to prevent it from happening. That got him a point taken away, and pretty much cost him the fight from there. Yeah, this was a very, very competitive fight, very fun to watch. Both guys were going at it from bell to bell, and yeah, it was a great performance from Jose Delino. Looked very good in the striking, very good in the clinch situations as well. I know Ruchala is a good grappler, and that's what he normally uses as well. So yeah, looked very had a lot of showed off good cardio, showed off very good technique, very good chin as well. And yeah, what can you say? Moving on. Ooh, this fucking fight. We got, let me sit up in my chair. We got Tommy Guns McMillan defeating Manolo Zucchini by round 1 TKO. This was a crazy, crazy fight. McMillan started off with a crazy ass pace coming at Zucchini. With combinations. McMillan, he has that like Nate Diaz type of like very slow, like where he's very like slow with his punches, but he has very good cardio, and he sort of just like pours it on you with like damage and volume. It's very rare, that sort of like architect and body type nowadays. Everybody's like sort of more like fast twitch and like explosive. It's rare to find like a sort of slow twitch volume cardio kind of guy nowadays. But yeah, McMillan, he has that same pressure, that same pace, that same like chaotic, even like more chaotic than like the Diaz bros. I think McMillan creates more chaos with his striking and his volume and his pace, constantly going forward. He went forward on Zucchini a lot, just brought the fight to him. Crazy punches, crazy exchanges. Was landing big knees on Zucchini pretty much the entire fight. He was also utilizing the headlock a lot of Zucchini. Every time Zucchini would bend down to like sort of like alleviate the pressure, McMillan would snatch up that headlock and sort of control them from there, to control Zucchini and land knees on him from there as well. Big punches from landing like very slow, like extended boxing combinations on Zucchini as well. Pretty much the whole fight. Cut Zucchini. I think there was a nut shot in there as well. McMillan landed on Zucchini. Ended up swelling up the eye of Zucchini early on. Cut Zucchini in a big exchange. And then it ended up folding Zucchini with a knee to the solar plexus, I believe, up against the cage, where he had him hurt and he was pouring it on. Ended up landing a knee to the solar plexus on Zucchini that ended up folding him and broke him from there. So, yeah, very great win, very great debut win for Tommy McMillan. Very, very fun fighter. His style could get him chinned if he goes further into the top. I couldn't see a guy like not like drawing into the chaos and it ends up like chinning him with like a counter shot. But for now, he looks very good. Very chaotic, very fun fighter to watch. That seems he's not gonna like, it's gonna be very, 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 very rare for him to have like a boring fight, since he also has like a wrestling base too. Also very good at defending takedowns. It's gonna be hard for a guy to like smudge him up against the cage and do that kind of thing to him, since he also has a good grappling base. So yeah, it seems like he's gonna be a very, very fun fighter to watch going on into the future. And yeah, says he wants to fight, 3 times a day, not 3 times a day, another 3 times this year as well. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Great win for McMillan. And I also picked Delino to win, and I picked McMillan to win. So yeah. Moving on, we got definitely performance of the night. It is Ethan Ewing defeating Rafael Estevam by round 3 TKO. Bro, Ewing entered the flow state on this one, man. Ewing looked sharp. He looked clean. The striking was nuts. The takedown defense was on point as well. He looked like a bantamweight JDM out there. I'm not gonna lie. He looked like JDM in round 5 against Bilal in there. Against Bilal in there. Was piecing up Estevam for pretty much the whole fight. Round 1, it was a bit competitive. Estevam was landing some shots here and there, but as the fight went on, Ewing just went straight into the matrix, was just bobbing and weaving, landing big combos, uppercut, left hook, 1-1-2, jab, right straight, landing, mixing it up to the body as well. Landing big right hands on Estevam as well, as Estevam had his head on the center line, landing big right hands, piecing them up some more off of those as well. Defended all of the takedowns of Estevam, shucked off all that, sprawled all of them. And I was just piecing them the fuck up, looking like fucking Yan out there against Marab in the second fight, just piecing them up, looking really, really good on the feet. Was Ewing looking really slick, start off really good head movement, really good boxing fundamentals, solid everywhere. Very good boxing offense and defense as well. Yeah, so very, very slick on the feet. Ewing looked for pretty much the whole fight. The third round, he ended up folding Estevam with a body shot to the liver. Left hook to the liver on Estevam, ended up folding him, and the fight was over from there. So yeah, great win from Ewing. Great showcase. I would say he needs to pour it on. He needs to sense when he has to finish a bit more, he needs to work on sensing when he has a finish, because in the second round he had Estevan hurt with the right hand, and Estevan was wobbly, and he didn't end up pouring it on. I thought he could have finished the fight earlier in the second round, and he didn't end up doing it. So I would like to see him like sit down on his punches a bit more when he has a guy hurt. He sort of kind of looks for like the perfect shot to lay guys down, which, to be fair, if he gets it, he gets it. But I think he can get guys in a bit quicker, and he's very proven. He beat Wellmaker on 2 days, and he beat a guy in Estevan who was 14-0 undefeated. Very good guy, a very good fighter, very solid fighter. Who, he beat Charles Johnson, beat a lot of guys. Was 3-0 in the UFC, and Ewing fucked him up. Very, very good. So yeah. Great performance from Ethan Ewing. Moving on to the featured fight, we got Abdul Rahman Yakyayev defeating Brenton Ribeiro by a round 1 submission with the rear naked. Ribeiro gave Yakyayev some problems in the first round a bit. Yakyayev, he looked very like low level in the punches with the boxing in the first round. He was like swinging very wild like haymakers and overhands on Ribeiro, and Ribeiro was clipping him here and there. And then he also like looked very desperate for the takedown. He was shooting at the ankles of Ribeiro, and then as the fight went on, Yakyayev eventually got him down with the takedown. Got the back of Ribeiro, and from there locked in the body triangle, I believe, synced in the rear naked, and Ribeiro ended up just tapping from that. So yeah, great quick win for Yakyayev. Yeah, destroyed. He had some adversity. He got clipped here and there. Looked pretty bad in the boxing, but in the grappling he looked very dominant. Showed off some good ground and pound as well. He ground and pounded Ribeiro to open up the opportunity for him to get the rear naked. So yeah, great stuff for Yakyayev. Still undefeated. Yeah, they're trying to build him up as a guy out of Turkey, trying to give the Turks back some aura. After Hassan pretty much irreparably damaged it. So yeah, good stuff for Yakyayev. Moving on, we got Verna Jandiroba defeating Tabitha Ricci by unanimous decision. I thought the fucking hot girl plot armor would work. It turns out it didn't. Jandiroba. I also switched my pick to Jandiroba in my fight companion stream if y'all would watch. So yeah. Verna Jandiroba, she ended up getting the takedowns on Ricci, got the takedowns, got control, got dominant position. Ricci couldn't really defend any takedowns out in the open. Up until the third round, she was just pretty much a sitting duck out in the open in the first two. And Verna Jandiroba, she ended up getting the takedowns, got the dominant position, was fucking landing good ground and pound as well on her. She was also landing some sneaky punches on the feet. With Ricci, she was just sort of very like focused on the takedown. And that opened up opportunities for Jandiroba to land on the feet when she got in close. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole fight. Third round, it was a bit more competitive. Ricci started stuffing some more of the takedowns. She stuffed like a couple more as opposed to the first and the second, but it was pretty much a done deal by the third round that Jandiroba was going to win the fight off the ground and pound and the control and the takedown. So yeah, good stuff for Jandiroba. I don't know if she's going to get another title shot. or they're just gonna wait for Zhang Wei Li to fucking to come back down. But good win for her for now, I guess. Moving on, we got. Let me tell you something, motherfucker. It's fucking election night. It's fucking election year in Brazil, and this country is run by fucking evil people. It's run by demons. It's run by fucking evil people. And Moicano wants the fucking money. He wants the easy fight in the fucking rankings. We got Money Moicano defeating Chris Duncan by round 2 submission with the rear naked. Also switched my pick to Moicano, man. You know, that crafty fight companion pick switch is that's a signature move. But yeah, this is a really good performance for Money Moicano. First round he came out on the pressure a bit, backed up Chris Duncan to the fence. Duncan, he does have a tendency to back himself up against the fence and be on the back foot when the fight starts. He kind of needs to like end up like getting hit in order to wake up into fights. He kind of has that habit that some guys have. And yeah, Moicano was picking his shots at range, landing low kicks, landing jabs on Duncan as well. He landed right straights on Duncan. As Duncan was trying to look for like big overhands on stuff on Moicano. Moicano, he had a big speed advantage in this fight as well. Duncan, he's very slow. We know that, and he hits hard, but he's very, very slow with his punches and his movements. And Moicano was reading all of it very well. Every time Duncan would try to like switch stances to land a big shot, Moicano would retreat from range and circle out from it. Circle out from the danger. He would get back on that jab, get back on the straight, land some left hooks as well. On Duncan. Would try to shoot him with the body lock Moicano did in the first round. He would try and shoot in, get Duncan down with a body lock. Didn't really get it in round 1. Duncan ended up defending all of those takedown attempts, but in round 2, it was more of the same. Moicano picking the shots with the jab, with the right straight and stuff like that. They ended up exchanging a bit in round 2, and that's where I was worried for Moicano, and where Duncan might be able to pull ahead is in like the like sort of brawling in the pocket exchanges. But Moicano stayed composed. He ended up clipping Duncan with the left hook. He hit Duncan with a 1-2-3 combo. Clips him with the left hook at the end of the combination. Ends up hurting Duncan. And then from there, he just jumps on the back of Duncan, locks in the hooks from there, gets to like the body triangle. Jeez, I want to sneeze. Locks in the body triangle on Duncan. Duncan just looked like a straight fish out of water on the ground against Moicano. He was bleeding as well. Moicano like ends up beating him up with the ground and pound on the back. While he's fishing for the rear naked, Duncan's trying to defend. It like I swear for like 2 or 3 times it looked like Moicano had his arm under the chin of Duncan. Duncan, he like ended up shucking off all of those, but the third or 4th time where Moicano had the chin, had his arm under the chin of Duncan, ended up being enough for Duncan to tap. Duncan pretty much tapped immediately once Moicano had his arm under the chin for the 3rd time. Duncan tapped immediately, and that was all she wrote. Very good performance for Moicano. Went out there and destroyed a guy like Duncan, who's very dangerous. Had some good wins on his resume, and Moicano shut him the fuck down. So yeah, great post fight interview. Great post fight speech as well. Ended up going off on the election year in Brazil, saying stuff about Jesus, shouting, saying he follows Jesus. That's the only law he follows. Telling people to follow his YouTube. He ends up saying fuck the fans. He's like, I love the fucking fans, but fuck the fans. Going off about that. Saying the country is run by demons, run by evil people. We all know. We all know who those people are. Saying he wants a easy fight in the rankings, and if he doesn't get it, he's gonna retire. Going off on all of that, you know, Moicano. He wants that money. He wants the money, and yeah, great And this was easy money for Moicano. Ended up being that great performance for Moicano, and yeah, and a good way to end off the card. Moving on. Not moving on. Yeah, that ended up being the card. Switched my pick to Moicano. Switched my pick to Jandaroba. Picked Yakiayev. I also switched my pick to Ewing as well. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, ended up going flawless on this main card. What? I went 2-5 on the prelims. Flawless on the main card, so that's fucking what, 8-5 on the card as a whole. Yeah. Good moments on this card. Had some good finishes, good boring decisions, and yeah. What can you say? I know we're all waiting for 327. That's gonna be next weekend. Also gonna have predictions for that as well. Gonna have a fight companion and a breakdown for that as well. So be sure to hit the bell, sub up, hit the notifications, all that shit, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.